Welcome to the 25th National Cancer Survivors Day. We are here to celebrate life, to celebrate survivorship, and to celebrate all those who have been touched in some way by cancer. I'm Dr. Stephen Lemon. I'm a medical oncologist here in Omaha. Am I too close to the mic? Or?
Actually, get closer.
Get closer, okay. I've been involved in cancer treatment for almost 20 years. And it's a real pleasure to be invited to participate in today's ceremonies. Well, I wanted to just say a few things about cancer and cancer treatment at this point in time. It's really quite an exciting time to be involved in research and treatment of cancer. There's a lot of new developments occurring. And just this weekend, there's the largest cancer meeting in the world, really, is occurring out in Chicago. 40,000 doctors, scientists, and healthcare providers. And just today, kind of a summary from that meeting just for today's events, there was all kinds of new treatments, new drugs. An experimental drug may delay breast cancer progression, prolong lives. Bevacizumab may extend progression in ovary cancer. Bendamustine may be a good drug for lymphoma. A new drug called anti-PD-1 might be helpful in a number of different cancers. So we're getting new therapies and new treatments coming at extremely rapid pace now, which is very exciting. So the future is bright. Now, what is cancer? Well, cancer can be scary, it can be a journey, it's beatable, and it can be life-changing, among many other things. We heard about the number of cancers in Nebraska. Nationwide, there's expected to be 1.6 million cancers this year. And as we said, about 2/3 of those are actually survivors. We have more survivors now than ever before, about 12 million and counting. But we still have work to do. The cost of cancer care is very high. It's too high. We need to figure out how to bring down the cost of those new therapies. Now, some good news, cancers that have decreasing incidence rates include breast cancer, lung, cervical, colon, and prostate cancers. But others are still increasing, and that includes head and neck cancer, esophagus, melanoma, kidney, and others. But what does the future hold? Well, we're focusing a lot now, in addition to treatment, also on survivorship. And you really have to go back to Lance Armstrong and his pretty much solo effort to put survivorship on the map and to say, well, once people finish their treatment, we still need to pay attention to them. They still have needs, and we need to address those. He's been very helpful in promoting exercise, so once treatment is done, getting back into normal life, getting into exercise programs, and there's a number of those available here in the Omaha area. How do you monitor for recurrence in survivors? How do we address some of the long-term effects of therapy, like chemo brain? What about that? You know, that's important too. So we're doing a lot more research and a lot more activities in survivorship. We're looking for personalized cancer care now, so we're looking for better treatments that have less side effects. And we're also in the world of social media. So doctors and healthcare providers have to figure out, well, what if my patient wants to email me instead of call me? Or what if she wants to put something on Facebook instead of call me? How do we do that? So that's actually kind of exciting, because I think there's going to be a whole new communication that's going to open up between providers, patients, and caregivers. So I admire all of you. I'm very proud of all of you, and it's a joy to be part of your treatment and part of your lives. I'm going to close just by talking about my connection to cancer, as we meet so many people, and everybody seems to have some connection to cancer in some way. I have a nephew And he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I think I was here 2 or 3 years ago, and that was right about when he was first diagnosed. And I mentioned that story at that time. Well, since then, he's done pretty well. He had chemo, but then his cancer came back. So he went and had more chemo and a transplant. So he had a autologous transplant, so bone marrow from his own bone marrow cells. But unfortunately, his cancer has just come back from that. So now he's had a second recurrence. And before today, that would be really bad news. But today we have a new drug. It's called Etcetera. Some of you may have heard of it. But it's a targeted therapy where it's an antibody, and attached to that antibody is a drug that's going to go in and kill the cancer cells. So that's given intravenously, and because it's directed right to the cancer cells, you don't have all the nausea, vomiting, you don't have the hair loss, you don't have as much fatigue. And so he's had his first treatment of that, and after his first treatment, his doctor wanted to get another PET scan, and so just after one treatment of this new targeted personalized therapy that we didn't have even just 1 year ago, his cancer is already responding. So that's the excitement that we're in today. And I'm really looking forward to what the next 10, 20, 30, so many years hold. So thank you, and it's been a pleasure being a part of today's ceremony.